This is Between Hooksets. I'm Chasen Walter from In Through the Outdoors with my partner in slime, Kurt Underhill from the fishing crew.
What's going on tonight, dude?
I think I used to set the hook with more conviction.
You did.
I'm just a little, I used to just really get into it. I'm sitting on a stool, my chair from the basement in Volga. I could lay back in that thing and let her rip and not tip over. I'm going to tip over if I'm not careful here. You know what I'm saying? I haven't had anything to drink like Mr. Brakss there.
Yeah. So, well, we're gonna get into a good night tonight. So we got Sean Brakss and live from the water, Paul Steffen. So it's going to be a fun night to talk Gov Cup. A lot of people who don't know, who live under a rock, Sean's dad started it and Sean ran it for a lot of years, and Paulie has fished it for a lot of years. So we'll bring Paulie in live from the water. He said he would do it, but he wasn't quitting pre-fishing because it's been that good. How we doing tonight, Paul?
Doing good. Kind of hoping the wind goes down a little bit, but yeah, it's fine.
Yeah. So, Gov Cup's this coming weekend. Paul, you're out. Sean, you've been out. Like I said, we're not really going to get into bite, talk more history, Gov Cup, all the different things that revolve around the Gov Cup, why it's so special. But what's the bite like? You guide on the water, so you spend most days. I talked to you the one day, and you said I took a day off just to recoup myself. But what's the bite been like on the southern end of Lake Oahe so far this year?
So it started off first part of June. The bite was phenomenal back in the Cheyenne. It was awesome. And about June 15th, maybe June 20th, it's just kind of shut down. We got super tough. About 2-week window there. I'm going to say probably the 4th and 5th. It just started getting a little bit better. And the bite's actually pretty good right now. Pulling bouncers, worms and bouncers have been pretty good bites. You just go run through some schools and find the active ones to go, but you hit enough spots, you're going to get some fish to go. But that had jig and bite though. I don't know. Jig and bite's pretty brutal. I throw a jig and wrap all year when I'm guiding, but off the side when I'm doing it. But it hasn't really produced this year for some reason.
Yeah, it's been I have a theory, and maybe I'm completely wrong, but I think these fish are conditioned to it, and maybe this erratic jumping of a bait needs to turn into more of a finesse. I don't know. This is just being a keyboard warrior, sitting on the sidelines watching all the stuff I watch Jaden Wendell out and, bait and knock, tap the back of his rod to get a fish to bite. I'm like, what is he doing? And it was working, from what we're used to doing this, and now all of a sudden you're just tapping a rod. It's kind of interesting, and you spend a lot of time on the water. What's your thoughts on the jig and wrap erratic bite situation?
Oh, 100%. I agree 100% that the jig and wrap, that thing. When this thing first came out, I didn't care. You popped in a pot of fish, you're going to catch majority of that pot of fish. Every school, you're going to catch 2 to 4 fish out of it when this thing first started going on. And every year, it's a little bit worse. And a little bit worse. It is. It's just so many people are doing it. Fish are getting conditioned to it. And especially on a week like this when there's 175 boats, and I'm going to say 150 of them are doing it.
Yeah.
So every fish on the system is seeing this multiple times.
Yeah. Yeah. And Sean, what do you think about jig? Do you own a jig and wrap?
I do not. I do not own a jigging wrap.
You can't pull in the bottom bouncer, so you don't have one.
Oh, you can pull a jigging wrap behind a bouncer. It's just going to pull up half the bottom of the lake.
It's worth a shot.
So, right. Just so we don't run out of time with Paulie, because he's got to get back to practicing, and we're going to run out of light with him. But Paulie, Gov Cup, how many years have you been competing in the Gov Cup?
Well, that's a good thought. I should have thought about that before hopping on here. But I believe the first time fishing it was with my dad was probably when I was 12 years old. I'm going to say it. I am 42 now, so I mean, it's been 30 years. And there's a few years there in the beginning years that, you know, I obviously never fished. We fished a one, we wouldn't, but for the most part, fished majority of them the past 30 years.
Yeah, and I know you jumped in. You there for a while. You were fishing with Willie and buddies, and now you and Dad have been after it. And you've got the father-son thing a few times, but that final victory, just you're always right there. But it just seems that's just a slight out of reach so far for you.
Why don't you just
That's hard one. My best finish is a third place finish, but I've had third through 10th, all of them, but I've never had a second or never had a first. So,
but I mean, it's still so. You like I said, you've traveled around the country and fished. You fished FLWs back in the day. You fished MWCs. I mean, you were at the time you were the only guy ever to win 3 consecutive events. You know, on the same body of water for MWC and Cass Lake. You've won championships. What's the Gov Cup compared to those events to you?
It's on the list. I'll promise you that. It's been on the list way too long.
But I mean,
it'd be such an honor. It would be fun to get one of these, and I'm gonna get one of these years. It might not be with Dad. It might be with Waylon. It might be with Stratton. It might be with Sis. I don't know, but I'm gonna hopefully one of these days get one with them. So
I think your best shots was Sis.
Poor lad, he's a little baby lucky about.
So I mean,
she's about 4 right now, right?
Going to fish all those other
She might
events.
listen to you. 5. I think she's 5, right?
She's 6.
6. Okay.
Going to fish all the other events you fish, what makes the Govs Cup so special to you? And I mean, this thing has grown over the years. It's been big, it's been small, it's big again. What do you think the Gov Cup draw is to you?
It's just honestly the best anglers in our state fish this event. And it's community. You know, everyone's, you know, there's a lot of family, community, friends that are there that it's just a great time to be with everybody. It's just get together. It's just not about the tournament itself, but like the pre-fish and then hanging out with friends after pre-fish, and you know, because everyone stays right out here locally, so you see a lot of people. So that's probably the most thing is just the atmosphere of it, you know.
I talked to so many people throughout the year, and over the years I've had people call me and say, I've never fished a tournament. I want to fish one. And I always say, well, the Gov Cup is probably the most competitive one you're ever going to fish, but it's the best one you're ever going to fish. There's something different about it. And I can't explain it other than it's like a fisherman's family reunion. At the rules meeting, I watch all you guys walk up to people that you haven't seen in a year, and it's like the family reunion every year for fishermen.
I probably can't explain it perfectly, but I can explain it like this: it's Pauly, and a lot of people like Pauly, embodies what the South Dakota Governor's Cup is. So he started fishing it with his dad when he was 12. I mean, I grew up around Pauly. I've known Pauly. We've known each other all of our lives. The fact that he was out there fishing when he was 12 and getting into the Governor's Cup and fishing with his friends, going back and fishing with his dad again and doing all those things and doing the father and son and making it this event that's what makes it special. They do it because it's competitive, but they also do it because it's a way to stay in contact with their friends, their family, their everything else. And that's what the South Dakota Governor's Cup is, and that's what it's been about since its inception.
So I've been on the F&G, right? It's only been 4 years, 48, right? 48, 49, no,
yep,
49, 50. 51, 52, because this is the 52nd. So here's from the outside looking in, and I never hear anybody say this word, but tradition, right there. There it is, Sherry. Boom. Tradition. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
it's amazing that is what it is. It is tradition for many people, right? Because there are very few that have only fished this once. You have a few here and there, but out of the 200 that are there every year, I bet there's 125 that have done it multiple years, year after year. Maybe the number's is a taller number. Maybe it's more like 140 or 50.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of them, but there's some new ones, and there's also some of them. Like, for example, this year there's a friend of mine that I know from up in the Watertown area, and good fisherman, great outdoorsman, avid hunter, all of those kind of things. And he's never fished the Governor's Cup, and he said, "This is on my bucket list. I want to do it," and he's coming this year. So I told him, "I'm glad that it's on your bucket list. I want you to do it. I'm glad that you got in, but I think that you'll find yourself doing it. It's not a bucket list. You'll do it again, and you'll do it again, and you'll do it again, because the amount of competition and the fun that you have here, it's friendly competition. Everybody wants to win, but at the same time, so many of these people respect each other and they cheer each other on. So when somebody doesn't have a good year and their buddies have a great year, or there's a lot of people out there rooting for Paulie, he needs all the help he can get as far as there's a lot of people rooting for Paulie to win it because he's a great fisherman, and they all know that he deserves it, but it's not that easy, and nobody knows it better than Paulie.
Yeah, I mean, even just how the you guys talked about this on all your shows, but just the technology and staying above that curve and learning everything. I mean, it's just, and a bunch of these kids like Bo and these young kids are coming in here. I mean, they're all salty. They understand these electronics, and they know exactly what it looks like and how to dial it in. Like I'm still trying to figure out how to get mine dialed in, and these kids do it in 2 seconds.
That's why I think you need sis.
Yeah. I need someone younger than my dad for sure. That's guaranteed. I'm the youngest one of the team. I'm in trouble.
I talked to Paulie this morning as he was rigging up an active target on Larry's boat, that the graph and the pole and everything is worth more than the boat. Just so Waylon could run it. Not so Larry could run it. Just so how old is Waylon now? 10?
No. Waylon's almost 11, probably 10, 11.
Yeah, 11. Yeah.
Yeah. So Waylon could run, not because Larry could run it, like just so Waylon could run it.
By the way, I don't know if you know this, Paul, but I did talk to some of your family members today, and apparently Larry somehow made it all the way to Snake.
Well, that's good. At least he knows he can get that far in the Governor's Cup now.
I talked to Larry last night, and he said he was fishing with the boys, Waylon and Rhett. And I said, he goes, "Yeah, we went into Okoboji, and there's no walleyes in there." And I'm like, "Okay, what was last?" He goes, "I just wanted to go there and make sure my boat ran." I said, "When was the last time you made your boat out?" He goes, "Last year at the Gov Cup."
Kurt's got it lined up. He's got a follow boat to film Larry and Waylon, but this is mostly for safety reasons.
So I don't want to lose some of these comments here. Easton wants to know, why is the bite so tough? He's thrown everything other than paddlefish rigs on my scope the last few days.
I'm telling you, the scope and stuff, I don't know. It's pretty brutal. But we all know that if you want to consistently come in with 2 big fish, you're gonna have to drive around, find 2 big ones, or just find big ones to throw at them. The more big fish you can throw at, the better your odds of having 2 of them to bite. Now, like I said, pulling bouncers, you can pull the bouncers. There's an incredible bouncer bite going on right now. But you're gonna catch, your slots and small overs and possibly a big one by luck,
And that's the thing. I always get the crap around town that the Wahi did the Gov Cup flip. I think it did it before the Gov Cup started this year.
100%.
I think the heat got us. We went from, a week ago, what were you seeing for water temp? And now you're seeing in the high, 70s. You saw 80 today.
Yeah, 61, 62. 61 and 62 a week and a half ago.
Oh, yeah, okay. All right. I was going to say today. You said 74 today?
Yeah, right now we're sitting at 74.
So how about this? Are these fish really that hungry? Because the when we flayed fish 3 weeks ago, There was nothing in their gut. It was just the white fat and an empty gut, and they've been eating and eating and eating. Are they full and taking a break? Is that part of it?
No, I mean they're full. They're always full. There's so much bait out here that they don't need to eat. You know, we catch them off guard with the worm, or we catch them off guard with whatever. You know, so they really don't need to eat. I mean, it's like, yeah. I mean, you see the condition of them, how healthy they are.
Yeah. It's interesting in the water temp growing up and going up so much, and is like I was out salmon fish with a guy last Friday. There was no thermocline in the water. Like we had 50 to 53 degree on his little fish hawk, pretty much at 90 to 50 feet of water.
Yeah, I talked to Leah's cousin that works the dam there, and I asked him what the water temp was coming out of the bottom there, and it was only like 10-degree difference from surface temp to the out of 90 foot of water.
That's got to be changing.
Yeah, I believe that every year that there's a certain time, and it's not always the same. It doesn't have an exact date, but the water will flip. And when it flips, all of a sudden you'll see some algae that pops up and comes off the bottom. It does it year after year after year. It's always happened. And then it sits there and it stabilizes again. But that's my theory.
And I think a lot of the reason why you are seeing the water temp so close from one to the other is because it's been so windy this year, and it's been churning all the time, nonstop. We don't ever have 2 to 4 days of calm. It always blowing 20 plus this year. It seems like.
Yeah, we don't have stagnant water. That's for certain.
So, getting into a little history of the Gov Cup, Sean, your dad and John Lindquist started this thing. Let's talk about. I've kind of talked about this over the past, but let's hear from you. Like, and you ran it through. I mean, how many years did you run this thing? Let's get a little history of the Gov Cup and all the different nuances that the Gov Cup has had over the years.
All right, I'll try my best here. So the Governor's Cup is older than I am. I've never missed one. I've been at every single one of them. Over the years, what I've seen is it's always been the same. It's always about competition. It's always about the good fishermen. It's always about the nostalgia. It took a few years to get there. You asked me how many years that I ran it, and I'm trying to remember exactly, but I think something like I think I ran it for like 18 years, something like that. I think I did a couple of them with you and your dad. Called me a co-director on that thing, and I grew up around it, and I really wanted to keep the tradition going, keeping the friendships going, keeping the nostalgia going, and wanted to make sure that it was a tournament for the fishermen. And so I want to thank not only the anglers and the participants, because they're the ones that really go. I want to thank them because they're the ones that it's the Paul Steffens. It's now me. I've been fishing this thing for many years, and I come back but the fishing crew, everybody that's part of it, all of the things that we've brought into it when it comes to the couples division and the father and son division. And I'm pretty sure that Paulie fishes the father and son division just because it just gives him another level. I mean, he brings his dad along as like a handicap. Yeah, I asked him, Dave, do you ever have any input of where you're going to go or what you're going to do? Nope. So anyway, but it's great. And these are it's a father and son, Paulie and Dave Steffen, that have been fishing it together for multiple years, and they do it because this is the 2 days a year that you guys fish together. And Paulie started fishing by Dave taking Paulie out fishing. Paulie got an itch for it, and the itch is still going. So that's what it's all about. When you talk about all of the other things that come into this thing, some of the new things that have come about is the Lieutenant Governor's Cup.
Mm-hmm.
This is, for me, the greatest thing for the Governor's Cup that's happened and since its inception, meaning other than the start of it and keeping it going and everything else, the Lieutenant Governor's Cup is the thing that I am extremely thankful to Travis and Kurt and all of the people that are involved in it, especially the sponsors that do it. You should see these kids. They go out there and they're pre-fishing already.
Yeah, right.
Kids are pre-fishing for the Lieutenant Governor's Cup. And
the one year before Whalen fished the Gulf Cup, he made Paulie scope the bay.
Yeah, he did.
He's like, so he knew where to go.
We come in from pre-fish. He goes, "Hey, drive around the bay, see where all the fish are." So, all right. put the active target down and start ripping around.
Yeah. My son fishes it. There's people from out of the state, not local people that are fishing it. People are coming from the state of Washington to fish the Lieutenant Governor's Cup. People call me from the other communities that are around the state and beyond that are fishing this thing, and they're always asking, when is the registration for the Lieutenant Governor's Cup? How do we get in? How do we make sure we get in? And it didn't take very long. These guys started it, and in 3 short years, this is, for me, it's just as cool as the Governor's Cup.
And, so when Sean handed the keys over, per se, to the Gov Cup to my dad and myself, I mean, there was long talks of nostalgia has to stay.
Yep.
This ain't a walleye tournament. It is, but there's certain things
the competition is already there
that are non-starters. Like if you get rid of these, it's over. And there's stuff that I could like strangle him for that I have to do every year, but it's worth it, right? There's certain things in the Gov Cup, and we always talk, we sit there, we look at the teams, and going back to tradition and nostalgia and the families that fish this and the Paul Steffens of the world, when we don't see a name on the list, me and Sean are talking about certain people, like why is that guy not in this? What's going on? And we, there's times we reach out to certain people going, what are you doing? Oh, I got this going on. So this is a family affair. This is the Gov Cup family that has gone on for years, and now we're bringing these kids into it.
Yeah.
And I love nothing more to watch, Sean's kids and Paulie's kids and Paulie's nieces and nephews. And, I was talking to Paulie, he's like, yeah, my sister-in-law signed up all the kids, just to make sure they were there,
It's 150 kids. 150 kids, and they're doing their dangest to try to get into it and enter it, and the amount of sponsorship that this event has that gives these kids a little bit of everything. You are a huge part of it. Travis is a huge part of it. I kind of float around the edges a little bit, but for the most part, this is something that is just kind of like what the father and son division is in the Governor's Cup. That's how I'm feeling about the Lieutenant Governor's Cup.
So we talk a little bit about how the Lieutenant Governor's Cup is new. Let's go back to the old days when, when this thing first started, in 1974 on Lake Sharp, 50 teams only. And then it kind of went on, and then kind of moved up. When did the father-son, when did the couples, when did the Viagra, when did all these divisions kind of start happening?
Well,
That didn't start year one, I'm guessing.
No, it didn't. And I don't think it started. I think that it started kind of with the father and son thing. The father and son thing probably began sometime in the, if I were to take a stab at it, probably sometime in like the late 80s, that kind of thing. And it was just something that was, why not kind of deal. And then I started running it. I brought in those divisions and made sure that they were permanent and stayed, and the Viagra division, the couples division. And then you've added on to it. You have the military division now and all of those other kind of things. Not just the military, but military and law enforcement. That's awesome. Yeah, the plaques and the trophies that you have for that this year that you showed me. So if you're standing still, then you're not moving forward, and if you're not moving forward, then you die. So you always have to look for things that people are interested in. I want to thank the Olivier family tremendously for all of the stuff that they do for the father and son division. Wow. But this is what it's all about. So it has become more than just a tournament. It's become something that people go to in order to not only see their friends, hang out with their friends, but remember friends. So that's it.
Well, and that's it. You know, we have the Fran Keller Memorial. We have the your dad's memorial, the John Brakss division. We have the
That's
Mike
like
Fahey.
craziness.
We have all these different divisions, and it's unfortunate we lose people. We have, you know, the fallen angler and honor my dad. It's life. We lose people. We hate to lose them, but these are some of probably the best best times these people that are past get recognized by possibly a community that doesn't, you know, most people know the people we talk about when we do this, but you know, there's people that didn't know who Jack Ellenbecker was, and they're going to walk away with Jack Ellenbecker rods.
And maybe there's a lot of people that are in the tournament today that may not, but if anybody fished the Governor's Cup more than once, and Jack Ellenbecker and the Ellenbecker, Jim Ellenbecker, those guys, they were some of the pioneers of the Governor's Cup. Meaning, I think that they were some of the first. They were the people that were. I'm not sure, but I think that they made second annual, that kind of thing. And they ended up fishing that thing all the way until they don't. So that's what the Governor's Cup is.
Yeah. And, you know, Paulie, we got a couple questions back to the fishing. Easton wants to know, the walleyes are shooting up 10 feet to check your bait. I think the water clarity with all the bait in there, there are just full, and they don't need to eat off looking at baits. Any tips on how you can catch the bait fish? Any tips how I can catch a bait fish to match the hatch?
I'm assuming it's either smelt. I mean, as we all know, it's either smelt or lake herring or gizzard shad that they're eating down there. More likely, probably smelt. Try to, you know, I've been trying to match baits. It still don't work.
And
but it's the same thing. I see that same thing. You get to a fish, and I'll drop on it, and he'll go shooting away as fast as he can. And the next fish will come up there, and it'll rip over there as fast as it can. I'm like, heart starts beating. I'm like, all right, this thing is gonna go down. It's gonna hit, and it just, gets right nose up to it, and just turns around and leaves. I had one earlier today, did it 3 times, and I'd give it a little twitch, and rip back over. And then he'd look at it, and then he'd leave. And I know it was a walleye. I mean, that one was definitely it was a big one. It was an 8-10 pounder. And I don't get it. I mean, you think you can trick a few of them to bite that way, but they don't. I don't quite understand why they're not tracking that. So I wish I could help you. I wish I could help him, but I can't even help myself.
My question for Paulie right now is that we've been talking for a while, and I haven't seen you catch anything. Has he caught anything?
No. Yeah. So it's just not me.
Oh, we got a couple other comments here. Pitlick says the Brakss family felt like my family. So
the Pitlicks have been like family to me, and not only that, Scotty, man, he started fishing. I don't remember exactly the years, but let's call it in the early 90s. And Scott was one of the, is one of the best fishermen I've ever met. So he has another sense of it. The only downfall is that him and Cooper have this love affair with bass. No kidding. Just kidding, Scotty. Don't worry. Don't worry, man.
So, like you said, the first nobody caught a fish. No, actually, it was the third Gov Cup. And I'm beginning to think it's the fourth because I have a picture of Ellenbecker, and I can't quite make it out, but either says the second or third that he won the Gov Cup. But one of the years, 0 fish were caught, and the rumor has it that Rick Ray had a big one up by the boat.
No, it was a 14-inch fish, and he was going to flip it over, and it came off, and he didn't realize that it was going to be.
So I got when I found out about this, Ron Linder had called me to ask me about the history and what year it was, and I had to call John Lindquist and get some backstory, and he's like, there was a guy, somebody, an old guy that fished. He didn't fish the first one because he wasn't invited. And I'm like, Rick Ray. He had an 11-pounder on beside the boat and lost it.
Well, that did. No, actually, I don't think it. I don't know. Again, before my time, but as far as I understand the story, is that one year Rick did win the Governor's Cup, and I can't remember the year. I want to say it was the second or third year, and it was whatever year that they didn't weigh any fish, and he had like a 14-2 on the river. So he actually landed that fish, and he caught that fish. At least this is according to Rick, so give him a call. Maybe he could have been just giving me stories all these years. I don't know, but I don't think so. But that's part of the evolution of the Governor's Cup. You know, it started down on the river. It started with 50 teams. People were doing it down there. You got to remember that in 1974, a huge boat was a 18-foot Sylvan with a 75 horsepower 2-stroke Mercury on it. And so after that, they started getting bigger and badder and started coming up to Lake Oahe. Don't remember the first year, but I'm pretty sure the first year was on Lake Oahe. It was up at Whitlock's.
So, I mean, if you think about that, so Rod Linder told me that year the Bad River Puke mud, nobody could outrun the mud. The fastest boat in the tournament was Frank Davenport with dual 35s. He had dual 35 horses on, but he had 10 gallons of gas to run dual 35s. No. And nobody could outrun the mud.
No, it all makes sense.
And if you think about all the nostalgia that goes into this thing, and it's made it a special thing. I mean, South Dakota started the first Governor's Cup, and to our best knowledge, there's not another walleye tournament older. I've done extensive research, and I challenge people every year to prove one that started before the South Dakota Governor's Cup did, and has ran as long as the South Dakota Governor's Cup has. And Montana has one, Wyoming has one, North Dakota has one, Montana has one. I saw Washington State, I saw a post from their Governor's Cup here. So people have copied this, and not only the Governor's Cup, but walleye fishing as a whole has all kind of started because of South Dakota Governor's Cup.
I believe that to be true. The way that I understand it, the way that the history goes with it, is that my dad grew up in South Dakota, avid hunter, avid fisherman. He lived outside of the state for several years doing different kinds of work, and he saw a few bass tournaments. There was no walleye tournaments. Came back, good idea. So, as far as I know, there are no other tournaments that had started. Walleye tournaments that had started prior to the Governor's Cup, and you know, somebody that can beat, what are we at, 53?
52 this year.
52. There you go.
So, like said, it was paired with the MWC in the 80s. We talked about this. So, me and Sean had long, extensive talks when I went to 200 teams, because he was in the 80s. He remembers.
It drove me nuts.
250 teams in the Gov Cup.
It was 250 teams in the Governor's Cup because the Governor's Cup was it was either a qualifying event for the MWC or else it was the MWC, also the MWC championship. I think it was in 1987, something like that. So I can't remember the year specifically, and I wasn't that old at the time, but I remember that Russ Backus was the MWC champion in 1987. Now, I don't know if that was the same year as the Governor's Cup. Pitlick might know.
Hey, Bo says, Paul, go inside.
What he say?
Well, he said, Paul, go inside.
Go inside.
I am kind of getting a little sun delusional here.
Our boy Felby says the trick to the weekend is going to be frogs. 90 foot of water be the ticket with the heat. And so Pitlick just put in 8 fish limit. I mean, I talked to Brad Taylor. He said they had 100 and some pounds to win the Gov Cup, but it was a big fish. I can't remember how many fish he said they weighed in.
It was, I think the largest weight that I recall, it was like 107, 110 pounds or something like that, but it was an 8 fish limit, no slots. And I want to say it was in 1983.
I think he said 85.
There you go.
Because he said, I think they won it in 85, and then in 95 they won it again with like a third of the weight.
That doesn't surprise me. But no, I mean, there was for a lot of years there were 8 fish limits out here and they were catching, here, figure it out, 16 fish, 110 pounds. So,
yeah, I mean, like Bo last year had the biggest bag we've ever weighed on a slot tournament, but there was 100+ pound bags, but that was 8 fish, no slot, and not the technology we had today.
No. Well, those are some of the things that I'd like to touch on real quick, if you don't mind.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, people talk about a lot about the technology in the fishing industry that is today. They talk a lot about the live scopes, jigging that, all those things. Some people are in favor of it, some people are against it. But just if you go back to my short history, I grew up on flashers. This is what our family could afford, and this is what we had. Did they have graphs? Yes, and those kind of things. Sure, you bet. Then they came out with paper graphs, and then they came out with depth finders with graphs and digital and all those kind of things. So everything evolves. One of my favorite stories, Rick Ray, for an example, is that he was one of maybe the first people that put a trolling motor on the bow of the boat. And the way that he got the transducer from the depth finder was to take a big hose clamp and he wrapped it on the head of the trolling motor and he put it to the front of the boat. Everybody criticized him, kept making fun of him. He's like, "Why are you doing that?" And his answer was that if God wanted you to go backwards, you put point on both ends of the boat. So, point being is that if you look at it in retrospect, it makes perfect sense.
Yeah, so he's a Richardson Billet. They weighed a big bag back in the day too. I mean, there were some big bags in the tournament back in those days, but there was no slot. I mean, we're seeing a great system. I mean, we always hear about the heydays. I'm sure in '97, the guys were talking about the heydays in 1983. I always think of that, like, our kids are gonna talk about the heydays of the 2026s. Well, when it was in my heyday, I mean, every era has that, but the system fish is good. The fish are super healthy this year, and the tournament, it doesn't really matter what it is. There's going to be a winner. People are going to catch fish.
It's the same rules for everybody.
It's the same rules for everybody. But at the end of the day, taking the trophy home for father, son, the couples, the Viagra, the win, whatever it is, he did something in the Gov Cup.
Paulie said it earlier today, and it's absolutely right. You find another tournament, 90% of the people that are in the Governor's Cup are great sticks. Not all of them are able to spend the time and do all those kind of things, but they're all good fishermen. And so they all want to win, and they all have the capability of winning. And another one that has a competition of the Governor's Cup, you're not going to find it. I don't think. I really, really don't think. Not top to bottom. No way.
I mean, I remember when I first started helping you and taking this thing over and stuff, and I would talk to some of these bigger pros at ice shows. They go, "Why don't you come fish the Gov Cup?" And they're like, "No, my sponsors would be pissed because I'm not going to get beat by a guy in a freaking pontoon."
Well, but that goes to be said without other things. I've known people that are in the Governor's Cup that were in the Governor's Cup for years and have done really well at the Governor's Cup, and then all of a sudden get sponsors and come back and they're not able to quite duplicate it. Fishing isn't that easy. You just because that it's just not. There's a little bit of there's a ton of skill. There's a little bit of luck. There's a lot of memory, and there's a lot of trying to figure out the situation of where you're going to go and how you're going to do it. And you can win the Governor's Cup. Hats off to whoever does it, because it's not a cakewalk.
And if you think about that, in the history of the 52 years, we got McCumsey with 5 victories. You know, we have Dave Spade with 4. Well, a lot of these guys have won, you know, Christian Dewey 4. We have multiple guys that have won multiple years over the years. Well, we got some tracks that Paul here. Let's get into these. Heater says, Paul, $50. I won't tell anybody where you hammered them at yesterday. And Brady.
By the way, I'd pay him. He's not joking.
I'm sure, Brady, this is more, you've texted more than you've talked in the last 6 months. Right there in that one sentence. Paul's still in the water because he didn't get off the water till, yeah.
It was pretty close to that, but after by the time I got my boat ready and Larry's boat ready, then Dad's boat wasn't working. It was
still not working.
And there goes.
And there he goes. Well, you know, there's one common denominator every year, and it's the walleye. Walleye will keep everybody honest.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You know, and I mean, Sean, just think the foresight. I knew your dad a little bit. Obviously, nothing like you did, but did he ever think that this would be sitting here 52 years later? I mean, what would your dad be thinking right now with, one, how the tournament's progressed, 2, the technology of the fishing world, I mean, I remember when I first started helping Sean, we had 4 girls with dry erase boards writing the results.
Yep.
And I literally said,
and when you took the dry erase boards, there was people already.
Yeah. I remember the one year we were at the hoop building, and the girls were out there writing, and the dry erase markers were melting. They were literally melting.
That was you. I
And
didn't go there.
yeah, it was melting, and we're like, we got to upgrade. Now, if we lose a live stream for, you know, people are barking at Chasen saying, we can't hear you, whatever. I'm like, there was a time not that long ago where people had to drive out here and look at the boards to see them.
That's what they would do.
Yeah.
It was an easy way to get they would do that. So to answer your question in regards to John, as far as how he would perceive things today. So first of all, he was always going to do things his way, and if he thought that here, whether it be paper grass or grass. I remember paper grass when we started doing the salmon tournament back again in the early 80s, mid 80s, those kind of things. Those were always kind of fun. So he was always a proponent of technology. Rick Ray was always a proponent of technology. They would just do it a little bit different. Now it's become an industry. Back then, fishing was an industry, but the number 1 lure in America was double. You know, so things change. So I don't think John would have any animosity towards the change or what people are doing today. And the reason why is that if you're able to, everybody has the same playing field. How you choose to do it is different. So John would have looked at it in a different way. He's like, well, you got to go do that, and you use whatever tools you want, and I'm going to go over here and kick your butt anyway. The other things when it comes to where he would have thought the tournament is today, he kind of had it there already, and it was kind of a big pain in the butt. So you got a lot of people sitting there tugging on your shirt, knocking on your door, telling you what they could do for you, how this is going to be. I'm going to do this forever. You find this with all the time. People come in and then for whatever reason they step out, and it's always a monetary reason that they do something. That's okay. It's usually the way that they step out is the thing that frustrates me, and I know that you've had frustrations with this before too, because we plan these things a year in advance. Yeah. So it's okay if you can't do it in year 53. That's okay. Just tell them.
Yeah.
We'll go find other people, because we have people standing in line that want to do it. It's when the sponsors and everything else, they bow out in the last second, and they don't give you time to adjust and try to find other things, because to them it's not important. So back to the reason why I brought that up is that years ago when I started running the Governor's Cup, John told me, he said, "Don't do it. Just let it go." Yeah, and I said, "No, I can't do it. I've been around too much." So he knew the struggles, he knew the problems, he knew everything else, but it's probably easier for him to say that because he started it, as opposed to people that were in it, and we wanted to make sure that it kept going. So he knew the issues, he knew the problems, he knew that the problems that were going to be created from this. He knew that the ups and the downs and the waves and the people bailing and not doing what they said. That's a kind of a common denominator in the U.S. anymore these days, where people don't necessarily do what they say. It's sad, but that's where we are in life. So he told me, "Stop, don't do it." I said, "Absolutely not." Maybe it was a challenge. Maybe it was, he thought that it was just, maybe the juice was squeeze, but I think if you looked at it now, I think you would know that it is. So,
well, and I mean, where I was going with that question is 53 years ago when they were sitting in Watertown with a bar napkin planning this thing out. Did he ever think it'd make 52 years? I mean,
I doubt it. I don't think he would have thought that. And by the way, it wouldn't have made year 2 without Marlene and a lot of other people that deal with it. Here, he's a good fisherman, and he can go talk to the fishermen and deal with the fishermen and do those kind of things. But the administrative part, he would have never been able to do. So without both John and Marlene, this thing would have, it wouldn't have got to year 2.
Yeah. Well, before we go on, Ollie, Zell said the reason you dropped it off is you probably dropped your phone in the water.
No, I was just netting a 10-pounder. That was it, guys.
But yeah, I mean, like,
wanted to make sure nobody saw where you were.
Well,
yeah.
I'm gonna give you a little setup because I'm gonna let Paulie go, and we're gonna get back into more Gov Cup history so Paulie can continue to use the last few hours of light because he'll be back in with the boat lights on.
If you haven't figured it out,
you gotta find him first.
We always ask our guests this, and I want to ask you this. It's going to set you up for the end of the show. Your Mount Rushmore. Who would you fit? Who, if you could pick one day to go with anybody, alive, passed away, dream? Who would be your 4 people you go on that boat with tomorrow? If you could have one day with them, who would the 4 be?
Ooh, that's a good one. I'm gonna go with Tommy Scarlett. That's one of them. I've competed against him, became great friends with Tommy. Never shared a boat with Tommy, but that guy was a wealth of information. He was very good at what he did. Second to be Bo Schilling, so I could teach me how to run this shit because I'm too old. 3 would probably be Bob Prop Sr. He's a pioneer. Senior was a pioneer of our country out here. So that's number 3. And number 4 is going to have to be that's 3. You're just gonna get 3. So
the funny thing is 2 weeks in a row we've had Tommy Scarlett brought up. That's pretty awesome. Peter Stocher said the 4th is him.
I was in the boat with him. I was in the boat with him on Sunday. That's once a year is enough.
Well, Paulie, thanks for joining us. Get back to it, buddy. We'll see you here very soon.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
We could probably figure it out if you had
The dollars.
Pitlick brings it up. Steve Nelson. Steve Nelson was a crucial part of the Gov Cup.
Absolutely.
I mean, he took it over for a few years. We can't forget about.
No, never did. He was always thank Steve for all of the things that Steve did with the Governor's Cup. He was a guest at the 50th, and he came down, and I loved it that he was there. So Steve had been around my family for years and years and years, and how do I say, we had a lot of things on our plate. John and Marlene had a lot of things on their plate. Steve Nelson wanted to volunteer to run the Governor's Cup. They said perfect, and so Steve kept it going for many, many years. I'm thinking 10 or something like that. That he ran it, and without Steve, it probably would have ended. So, hats off to him.
I mean,
he did a great job.
We always give your dad and John Lindquist props for starting the thing, but like you said, Marlene, the John Cooper, Steve Nelson. I mean, the hand and
it's an army, buddy. It's an army.
I'm just talking about directors or people who were the spear of the tip of the spear. What about the volunteers over the years?
Good grief! I mean,
we've had you had numerous volunteers. We have numerous volunteers. I mean, it went from, a group of volunteers that I inherited from you. Now they're starting to fish. And now I bring my new ones in. This thing is a family event all the way around.
No, absolutely. I mean, the amount of volunteer I had when it goes back to technology, and it goes back to the things that you're able to do with a little bit more efficiency. Here, I mean, I was the first one that put things onto a spreadsheet. Before that, it was you had a carbon copy of multiple different tickets, and you'd have to bring them in, and you'd hand this thing here, and somebody would write it down. And this is how the board was coming. So it was crazy. So with my volunteer help, when I was running the tournament, and I didn't adjust too much, but I'd have 15, 20 people that would help out, whether it be boat checks or whether it be writing on the board or taking weigh slips or bumping fish or doing those kind of things. I mean, that thing just went on for again, I'm a guy that just tried to organize the circus. The reality is that the circus was only capable of keeping going because of the people that just donated their time, wanted it to keep going.
I mean, back in the day, Bob and Sarah Hartford would put their sailboat out to check people in at the end of the day.
That's absolutely true.
I mean, all the people. That's how I got involved in the Gov Cup. We were in ICAST in Florida, and Sean's like, "You're going to come back and help." And we're like, okay. So we flew back in on a Saturday night, and he goes, "You're boat checking tomorrow." And I go, "I don't got a boat." And you're like, "You're using this one." And I'm like, "You're going with Willie Glow." And Willie goes, "You're driving the boat. It's not mine." And I'm like, "I don't even know who owns the boat, but whatever."
I'm not sure either.
I mean, Sean's like, "You're going boat checking tomorrow with Willie." And Willie's like, "I'm not driving this boat. I don't own it." And I'm like, "I guess we got to go boat checking," But it's Chasen, what he's added to the Gov Cup. It's Nate, it's Zach, it's my wife, it's Carla, it's a whole family that shows up.
Travis.
Travis Stout with the Lieutenant Governor's Cup, and the Steffen family that kept this thing running for years.
Larry was there just to confiscate beer.
And Q showing up.
Oh yeah, I forgot about Q.
So Q, people can't see is our buddy Q sitting over here, and he's fished it for quite some time now, but he started as a volunteer. So it's it's a family thing. At the end of the day, I always tell everybody it's a family reunion.
If I remember right, I think Q would come out with his wife Tony early in their marriage. He'd help out volunteering. John didn't want to fish and John would take Quentin and Tony out fishing, if I remember right. So, and meanwhile, John would, sometimes he'd fish it, sometimes he wouldn't. You never knew.
But I mean, I tell people that come one time, be social. You're going to leave with friends for a lifetime out of this thing. There's people that we've met because of this, and we talked to because of this Governor's Cup. and you see that with other tournaments, but it's not what this one is. And, I'm biased. I think it's the best tournament in the country. You're biased because, we put our heart and soul into this thing for many, many years and many, many years to come. I mean, Sean gave me the keys to this castle years ago, but he's still he's my top advisor. I call him. I mean, if I think something crazy and he puts me back into place, or he tells me it's stupid, or he tells me that's a great idea,
No, what I tell everybody else is that I got to go feed Kurt oxygen.
We're getting to our hour mark. Sean is he hasn't beat me up too bad on this episode. So before we hit that, we're gonna get out of here. But Sean, who's your Mount Rushmore?
Well, all right. I'll give you a couple Mount Rushmore. So it's not quitting. The guys that I would like to fish with, I'm pretty lucky. I fish with most of them, and so we go with the John Braxes, the Rick Rays, Russ Backus, the guys that kind of started everything that the Missouri. I mean, they started with the Missouri River Pro Guys Association, and there was half a dozen, and they were good. Did something a little bit different. So I don't really have much of a Mount Rushmore in regards to who I haven't fished with and who I would fish with. I'd fish with Scotty Pitlick. Scotty Pitlick was a hell of a fisherman, and he is a hell of a fisherman. He needs to get back in the Governor's Cup.
He said we threw a plug in for the restaurant.
What restaurant?
I mean, yeah, we're sitting in the room. I guess I can't officially say you guys didn't build this, but
Not this bar, no.
This establishment that we hosted at, and people ask all the time, like, the back part behind Spring Creek is tight. Well, when the people that come watch this think it's tight, but this means this is just as crucial to the Gov Cup as being off that back deck at Spring Creek as the tournament continuing next year.
So So back to the Mount Rushmore thing. I mean, Rick Ray was always fun to fish with because he was just kind of no nonsense and you deal with it. Wicker Bill was probably one of them, but I fished with all these guys. So, back in the day when everybody was younger, we would have a little bit of extra time, and I didn't have very much extra time ever. But I go out fishing with Scotty Pitlick. I go out fishing with Matty Lyons. That was a lot of fun. I enjoyed it very much, and we just go out there and just do fish.
So
not for work.
Can you pick 4 you haven't fished with that you'd want to fish with?
Nope. I don't know. I can't. I don't know. I can't think of somebody that I would here. I mean, I've fished with Paul Steffen. I fished with all of these guys. I'm not much of a live scoper, so going out with these guys, I guarantee you they could teach me how to do it, but I'm not going to take the time to learn it. I want to go out and enjoy what I do, and I'm fishing with Q and Mark and my partner in the Governor's Cup, Troy Engstrom, and we have a really good time. Sometimes we do good, sometimes we do not so good. So I know I've got a few. I don't know. I've got several top 20s, and I think the highest I got was 4th. And we do our thing, and
I'd put a bet out there that very few people have more fun than you and Troy.
Well, I guarantee you that we'd never get sad.
I haven't said a hell of a lot, but boy, I'll tell you what, I've been having fun listening.
I can't believe you didn't say your Mount Rushmore's fishing with Chasen Walters.
Yeah, right. Yeah, there's a waste of time.
In the boat with Sean. It was fun, but I mean, Gov Cup this weekend, guys. We appreciate Sean and Paulie for taking time out of his practice. Sean I had to cattle prod him and told him somebody else was coming on. So I thank you, Paulie, for showing up. And
Yeah, I want to thank.
He even says he's listening. He's waiting for you to say him.
Yeah, keep listening. Even Q laughed at that. Heater, you people know you. So no, I want to thank everybody with the Governor's Cup, the fishing crew, the Lieutenant Governor's Cup, Chasen, for doing all of the stuff that you do. It's great seeing you. It's great. I love it when you come back. All of the sponsors of the Governor's Cup that make this thing keep going and going. And I've said it since the beginning, is that without the sponsorship and without the people that want to devote their time and it's become something of itself. It's its own being. The Governor's Cup is what it is, and I hope it keeps going on forever.
Felix got one. Says, thanks, Sean. Best of luck. I'll be in the crowd telling him how they should have done it.
Yep.
So this weekend, it's going to start here in the next 2 days. Keep paying attention. We'll be, Chasen will be bringing you live interviews from interviews from the pre-meeting. We'll be doing live takeoff in the morning with the morning show. Hopefully, we got a few guys with Starlink now, so we can get some midday reports. And weigh-ins start at 3 o'clock every day. Live shows through the whole thing. Live leaderboard will be on the fishingcrew.com. And can't wait for the Gov Cup to kick off in 2 days.
Fantastic. I'm not kidding you. It's been listening. Thank you.
No, Chasen, to be honest with you, you should have jumped in here. I'd rather listen to you than Kurt.
No, honestly, it's about the tradition and the nostalgia. And like I said, I'm the F&G. I've only got a few years in it. So it's fun to listen to all this history. It's great. I'm not kidding you. And ask Kurt, if I'm sitting back not saying anything, it's because I'm listening. I was enjoying the daylights out of it.
No, that's great. And I appreciate you saying that. And in the end, you walk the crowd at the Governor's Cup, even the people that are in the crowd, you're going to find spectators and fishermen that every single one of them got a story. And that's why we keep doing it. And I appreciate Kurt and Sherry keep doing it and everybody else that helps them out to make sure that it happens. So
yeah.
All right.
We'll see you guys this weekend.
Take care. We'll see you soon.